What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 500,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you are blessed. Let me clear the throat here. Just hold on a second here. Okay, you are blessed. That's better. Blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. You are watching The Morning Vibe live on Friday, March 13th. Friday the 13th. Do you have any superstitions about Friday the 13th? Well, we're here to just cast them away for the next little bit. And we hope you are doing fine. I always like to talk about weather. So we were thinking in Toronto, we were getting to some spring warm weather. It's dipped back and it's got cold again. And we're supposed to get some like rain, snow, wet snow, rain today. Spring is not fully here yet. It's taken a backseat. Winter is claiming its footprint for as long as possible. But we're happy that you're here, whether it's live on the replay, and looking forward to another epic conversation. And what's been going on with you this week? Any wins? Anything you want to share with the Morning Vibe family? For myself, it's a lot going on this week and had some new people on the Dr. Vibe platform this week. Had some great live conversations and really enjoying them. And a lot of things going on. Last night, I filled up my gas tank for the first time in a few days. And when I looked at the price of gas, I went, whoa. I'm just going, OMG. Like to know, for those who are watching live on replay, how is the high gas prices impacting you? How is it impacting you these days? Are you traveling less? Are you spending less? Are you pulling back? I know gas prices, yes, that's the first thing will go up. It'll be interesting to see how long that takes to hit other parts of society, like your grocery store. Are you going to do any traveling? Are you going to take, I wonder if, I don't know. I haven't booked any plane rides recently. Just like to know if have you noticed price increases other than at the gas tank? And just an FYI, co-host Ryan will not be with us today. So Food Plane, he's not here today. He says he's going to be here on Monday. Okay, so I'll just get that. So it's Dr. Vibe hand sold today, but it is, I've got something in my eye here. Let me just, okay. All right, something in my eye. I'm going to take care of that and also have some water. Okay. Let's take those two things and make sure they're looked after. So water, etc., etc. Okay, already in the house. The Food Plane says, hello, Dr. Vibe. DS is here. Food Plane, is so good to have you back on the reg. And yes, your favorite guest is today. Yes, I know that. I had a feeling that you would be around. Coffee Coach says, gas equals madness. Yes, it is. If you have a lot of driving to do, I guess the people who are happiest right now when it comes to travel is people who have electric cars. They're saying, aha, finally. Food Plane says it's been the opposite here in the East Coast. It's warmed up this week. Okay. Yeah, we haven't got the warmth yet. Well, we had a taste of it, a tease of warmth for a few days, especially last weekend, but it's cold for the next few days. Kofi Coat says the price of gas is what's blinding your eye. Yeah, it is. You go to one of these things. Ugh. And Food Plane says about Ryan, he's enjoying some oxtail somewhere. Yeah, he is. I'm sure he is. But thank you, gentlemen, for chiming in early and getting the engagement up right from the get-go. Always good to see. Let's see. What other things we got going on this morning? Yeah, that's about. Saw some interesting quick stories that I was just looking at. Is anyone here a fan of the the singer Jill Scott. A lot of people I know are a big fan of the singer Jill Scott. She's just put out a new album, the first one in years. She has announced a tour. Unfortunately, I don't see any Canadian dates for those people who were looking forward to her coming to Toronto or Canada. Don't see anything yet. But we'll catch that. And then an interesting story involving former president of the United States, Barack Obama. So here's a quick story here. Former president of the United States, Barack Obama, has officially invited former President George W. Bush to the dedication ceremony of the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago, scheduled for June 18th. While Bush has confirmed his attendance, multiple reports indicate that the current president of the United States was not included in the invitation list. Surprise, surprise. And the ceremony will be live streamed for the public, and should be interesting. So not too surprised that Barack Obama would not involve the former president of the United States to the opening of that building. Fitness IQ Cam says, morning. Good to see you, Fitness IQ. Good to see you. What else coming up? Yeah, the gas price thing is crazy. It is crazy. And is anyone high level keeping track of the war? That's a whole other conversation I don't want to get into today. If you want to talk about it, I'll chat about it a bit, but I don't want to get into it, but it's having an effect on people economically, social, emotionally. There's just so much stuff all over the place going on. Lots of stuff. We're here to add light to the world. Okay. This is what we're here for today. And got a number of people chiming in this morning, especially via YouTube. Thank you. If it's your first time, welcome. If you're a reg, thank you again. We appreciate it. We don't take it for granted. Let's see. Anything else that I want to put out there? Oh, is anyone going to watch the Oscars on Sunday? I'm not into the award show thing, but is anyone going to be watching the Oscars? Is anyone hoping that Sinners wins? I think it has 16 award nominations, which is, I heard, the most ever for the Oscar awards. It will be, and I know people are going to be watching what people are wearing, all that. I don't care, to be honest. Got more important things to do with my life. But is anyone going to be Oscar watching this weekend, checking it out? You can definitely talk to the family here in the chat. Oh, so Food Plane has us question. Food Plane is the master of questioning. So Food Plane goes, how long have you been doing this show? So are you meaning the morning vibe, or how long have I been live streaming? So I need you to follow up with that. And that's a really good question. So is it this show you're talking about, the morning vibe, or when did I start my first show? Okay, Fitness IQ. Okay, the morning vibe. That, you know what? I think we're at least 3 or 4 years now. Fitness IQ, more important things like cough. Okay, I know what you mean by that. There have been things going on, so I know what you are chatting about. So gotcha. Yeah, the morning vibe. Yeah, it's about 4 years. Good question, Food Plan. I'm going to do some research after the weekend. So the next time you ask me, I can give you a definite date. Or you know what? Let me see if I can find out really quickly now. No, that won't tell me. Let's see if I can give you a quick answer. I know it's at least 3 years. That I know. Let me, that's not going to tell me. I'm going to do something really quick on your behalf, Food Plane. Let me just check. Morning vibe first. Yeah, if I don't find it this really quick, no, that's not going to tell me it. Oh, you know what? Let me see. Station. I found there may be a way I've found out, maybe able to find this answer really quick. Okay. I was able to find out. So the first morning vibe show was actually, we just passed our 4-year anniversary. Or no, actually, you know what? Nothing just happens. We are coming up approximately our 4-year anniversary is coming up next week. Yeah. We did our first show approximately 4 years ago. So I'm going to make a note of that, food plane, and we've got to do an anniversary show. Yeah, 4 years ago. Actually, you know what? Let me just take a look. It's got to be more than that. Hold on. No, 5 years. 5 years. Okay, I'm going to make it. We're coming up to our 5-year anniversary of the Morning Vibe. Wow. Food plate, your questions are on point. Yeah, coming up to our 5-year anniversary. Okay, so food plane goes. Let me just see. He goes, oh wow. Who was your first guest? Our first guest was a lady named Station Frederick. And at the time, she was running a not-for-profit organization called Frontlines, which is a Black Canadian Black Canadian focus organization helping Black Canadian youth or Black African Canadian youth. She was our first guest. So that is okay. Michelle Baptiste is in the house. What is up, Michelle? Hope you and your mother are fine and safe. Good morning, good people. Food Plant says, wow, I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about it unless you mentioned about it. And worth a celebration show? Yes. The unfortunate thing is we've got people booked Monday and Friday, at least for the next week or two. So the next open date will have a celebration show. He goes, wow, 5 time to have, wow, 5 time to have a celebration show. Yes. Fitness IQ goes, wowzers. Yes. Thank you. And then happy anniversary. Thank you. I didn't even realize that. That was our yeah, I will make a note of that. I'm just going to go back in because I know who our first guest was. So that's how I was able to find it right quick. If I didn't remember who our first guest was, I would have had no idea. All right, nice filler there. That was good. Nice to put me on the hot seat. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back from our break, we will do some housekeeping. And then we'll have Carolyn Nichol coming up talking about a health challenge for women, but we should and men need to know about it also. Men need to know about it also. We're going to come back from the break. Housekeeping. One more. Do you have one more? Oh, what? Okay. Food Plan's another question. What keeps me going? Because it's bigger than me and I'm serving all of you. And I learn. And when people show up at the other end watching, that keeps me going. And I'm always curious. And it's bigger than me. And I love doing it. So that's a quick answer. On the anniversary show, we can go in depth, but I like that. Thank you for those questions. All right, let's go to a little break.
Toronto, July 25th. The Narrative Power Summit is landing in the 6. This is about ownership.
This is about controlling our story.
If you're serious about narrative power, strategy, and ownership, this is the room you need to be in. To get your tickets, go to africandiasporanews.org/Canada. I'll see you in Toronto.
There you go. African Diaspora Narrative Summit coming up in Toronto on July 25th. And I'm blessed to be hosting the event and also hosting the panel discussion. If you are a Black content creator, I would urge you, or I suggest, not say urge, I suggest you show up at that event. A lot of great people going to be there, not only from this area of Greater Toronto and Canada, but also from the United States. And speaking of that, let me do this. Some promo stuff, then we'll get to our housekeeping. Coming up on the Dr. Vibe Show this Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern, I will be speaking with Philip Scott, who is the founder, bad spelling there, is the founder and chief executive media architect of the African Diaspora News Channel. If you don't know who Philip Scott is, you should. He, on his own, over the last 8 years, has developed a media powerhouse with the African Diaspora News Channel. It is a beast. He has on a regular basis 19 million viewers on his platform. He's also going to be at the ADNC Summit, but I'm going to be having a one-on-one conversation live with him this Wednesday. Other thing, coming up on this Monday's Morning Vibe, Mignon Cam will be back. She'll be talking about MS Awareness Month, Black Voices Living with Multiple Sclerosis. So Mignon Cam will be back in the house. All right, here's some regular things. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Yeah, we are almost at now 2,200 subscribers. I'm very humbled to have that. Very, very humbled. So if you're a subscriber, thank you. You're not subscribed, why not? But if you are subscribing, engage. We're getting more people in the comments section on the replays, which is great. Also, follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Join our Discord group. Feel free to email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com or hit that link. To advertise your business product or service on our show, please email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Cannot forget our good friend Dr. Tachi, the driver of Indie Soup TV, independent content creators platform on YouTube, with over 28,000 subscribers and 2.5 years of operation, which makes it, subscriber-wise, one of the top 4 YouTube platforms in the world. So we cannot forget about that. All right, let's see. Oh, some more comments. All right. Okay, I won't do okay, Food Plane says, all right, I have them coming. Get ready. I hope it's not annoying. I genuinely asking questions and inducting. No, I love your questions. Don't feel bad, Food Plane. Ask the questions. Because a lot of times when someone asks a question, there's at least one other person out there that would like to ask it, but for some reason is not asking. So no worries. No worries. It's all good. It's all good. Well, she's here. And I reached out to her earlier this week, and I didn't hear from her going, what country, where is she now? She's just on tour. But she was at an event this week, and I said, oh, she responded. I said, I could fit into her schedule. I could fit into her schedule. So here she is, Carolyn Nichol. She has had another quiet week. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am fine. I am fine. What has been going on in your world?
Well, I just washed my hair this morning, so I'm sorry for the poofiness.
Well, I washed my hair this morning too. What's been going on?
It's been a really wild 3 weeks because we had at the last week of February, we had our retreat in Muskoka. So, it was a mountaintop experience. It was amazing. It was incredible. We had 5 of our guests come from the US and to our retreat. So it was just amazing. But of course, you are for 4 or 5 days locked in with all the guests. So, not able to respond to messages, check emails the way you normally do, answer calls. And then when we got back, I, spent a couple days trying to rapidly catch up, but then off to the RC show at the International Center, and there for another 3 or 4 days, interacting with clients and potential clients all day long. So not able to check emails or respond to messages. So it's been nothing but a catch-up game for the last couple days. But I'm back home in my wonderful northern home, and it's quiet here and there's no distractions. So I'm slowly starting to get caught up. So if anything,
great.
There's like 142 unread messages in my inbox. I'm getting
Can you give me a highlight from the retreat this year?
There was so many. The two that stand out to me the most is we had a snowman building contest because 5 of our guests came from, we had 5 of our guests came from California, so they hadn't really experienced the Canadian winter.
Okay.
Yeah, so the men built a snowman, and the day that they had it, it was packing snow. So they built the most amazing snowman. And so the next day, it was the girls, the women were going to build a snowman, a snow woman. We got all our supplies. We found some hair out of some, leaves and evergreens. We got some googly eyes. We had everything ready for this snow woman that we were going to build and win the contest. And the night before it got warm, and then in the morning it got so cold, so our packing snow turned into ice. So the most we could do was make a small little dog. It didn't get like higher than 1 foot, but anyway, we made a pretty snow dog. So that was pretty hilarious. We spent a lot of time laughing and snowshoeing. But one thing that really stood out, like if I say 2 highlights, so the snowman and dog building contest, that was so much fun, and the snowshoeing and playing in the snow. So just watching people enjoy the snow, because it can be enjoyed. One thing that when we had finished the retreat, so the 5 people that came up from California, they knew each other. And so they were a very close-knit group, but we also had other guests that didn't know them and didn't know each other. And the food was off the hook. The cold plunges appeared scary, but everybody loved them. The walks in the winter were so great. So we're driving back. I rented this big vehicle so that I can get everybody to the airport and back. So as I'm driving back, I asked one of the ladies who was there, not part of this group of 5. I said to her, she kept talking about how great the food was and how wonderful the seminars were and the cooking classes. I said, so tell me, what is your highlight? What was your favorite part of the entire 4 days? And you know what she said? She said, I felt so loved and cared for. And I haven't experienced that in a really long time. She was just saying that this group of 5, even though they were already a family and knew each other, she said they treated her like she was family. They cared for her. They checked when we were walking, make sure she needed a hand to walk over the icy parts. She said she just felt so loved and cared for. And that to me was my highlight, hearing that was her favorite part.
How did that make you feel when you heard that?
That we did it right. Yeah, good. That we did it right. That's what it's all about. We want people to come and feel and experience peace and the love of God and know that they are loved and they are cared for. Even though I've only known you for 4 days, I really care about you that much. And I don't want that to leave. So we always set up a WhatsApp group for those on the retreat so we can all continue to stay in touch and encourage each other.
So if the people came up from California, had they been exposed to a Canadian Carolyn winter before?
Never.
Wow.
I mean, never. And I'm telling you, they've already put their names in for February's retreat next year with their family members. It was really
Ah,
amazing listening to them, talk about their experience and how transformational it was. I mean, you know, uh, outside of the warm and fuzzies, blood pressure went down, blood sugar went down, livers got cleaned up, like people were restored. So for those that are interested, we've got our April retreat coming up, end of April. And we've got a 7-day and a 4-day, and there won't be any snow, but there will be plenty of fun. So if you are available, it is a transformational experience.
amen. All right. Had you ever been to the Restaurant Canada show before?
No, this was the
I want
first
to,
time.
when you told me you were at that, I said, I've never, as long as I've known you, did you ever be there before?
No, because it's not an energy shack thing. It's a
Okay.
with gluten-free thing. So
Yes.
that's why it never really was of interest, because here at the restaurant show, you're trying to get the attention of wholesalers and restaurants and distributions and grocery stores. So Energy Shack doesn't really fit in those categories to some degree.
Well,
Our
not on the
juice has-
front end, but could be on the back end, right?
To some degree. Our juice
Yeah.
has only like a 4 to 5 day shelf life. And I'm not saying, I made some good contacts there for the Energy Shack, but it was really about the wholesale
Yes,
aspect of the
gluten-free, yeah.
With Gluten-Free Bakery. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was off the hook amazing.
Good. Just out of curiosity, did you run into a lady named Janice Bartley?
Not sure. That name doesn't ring a bell, but if you
Okay.
tell me the company she's from, that might.
Well, she was basically in charge of the Black food booth.
Oh, the Black booth. Yeah. The Black community booth.
Yes.
So I did go by there, and there's a few of our partners that we deal with in the industry that was there.
Okay.
You know what I didn't like? I didn't like that there was a Black booth. Can I just be real?
Yeah.
I feel like because there was a Black booth, it was drawing only Black people.
Oh.
And that I didn't like that, because I feel like our Black entrepreneurs need to show the white community and the other culture communities their stuff and who they are and their value. So it's like, I walked by that booth a number of times. I went through the booth. There was rarely anybody but a Black person in there. And I thought, I agree and understand, support community with your same community, but these are incredible products that the Chinese people walking through this place and the Korean people and this, wealthy white company out in Vancouver needs it. And they weren't going in there because it looked very inclusive, exclusive, and both of those. So I wasn't thrilled because, I'm just like, the Black community is so dear to my heart that I was just like, these guys have such amazing products. They should have their own booth. And I know that can be expensive. So, I understand they were a bunch of small businesses getting together, so it was more cost effective, but it really shut out some of the big wigs, whether you were Black, Chinese, Indian, but it really narrowed their audience. And I didn't like that at all.
Interesting perspective. I'd love the day if I could make it happen to have you and Janice Bartley sit together and have a conversation. Because Janice runs a not-for-profit, you've probably heard of it, called Foodpreneur Labs.
Yeah.
She runs that. And I got to say, congratulations. They just got a grant of $2 million
Wow.
to continue the great stuff they're doing. And Janice, full open, Janice and her family and my family, we've known each other forever. So she's a family friend and one of the smartest people I know, period, when it comes to food distribution and all that. She knows her stuff.
That's amazing.
Big time. All right, let's catch up on some comments because Food Plane is here. So first things first, he said back a little while back ago, it's good for the algorithm. Yes, that's why when people subscribe. Don't just subscribe and do nothing. Subscribe and engage, either that's commenting, whether it's live on the replay, watching live on replay. Then he goes, there she is, the one and only.
It's a wild and crazy here today.
Food Plate says, Carolyn, me and my wife agree that you are a very pretty woman and you have great skin.
Oh, it's all the water.
Da 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 da.
There you
and
go.
Then he also says, how often are the retreats? I think you went over that.
Yeah, well, we do them usually twice a year, in February and April. And if there's a need, we do them also again in November.
Okay. I'm not going to give you he has a question about a top today. I'm going to hold back on that. And he goes, wow. And he says, well said, Carolyn. So the president of the Carolyn Nicol Food fan club is in the house. Well said, Carolyn. All right. We got a good topic today about PCOS, fibroids, Cysts explained, holistic hormone healing. I'm gonna start it off because I think there's an explanation, because some people will go, what are we talking about? So in plain language, how do you explain PCOS, fibroids, and ovarian cysts?
In plain language, I would just say that you have a hormone imbalance.
Okay. And how often, how are they similar or different?
They're actually quite different, but their treatment is almost the same. So PCOS is a hormone imbalance where your androgens are higher as a female, and that's a male hormone. So you do need androgens, but if they're at a certain level, now they're going to cause hair growth. Now your periods aren't going to come very often. You can grow cysts on your ovaries. So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So your androgens are high, and you are now having more male responses than female responses in the whole reproductive area. So it doesn't always mean you have cysts growing on your ovaries, but many times it does. It's a metabolic disorder and an endocrine disorder. Endocrine is your hormone system. So it's usually linked to you becoming insulin resistant and diabetes. Now, when we're having fibroids are literally tumors in your body. They're muscular tissues, and they're muscular tumors that feed. Now they're benign, they're non-cancerous, but there's still a tumor that is growing and feeding, and it's muscular, so it's a little harder to manipulate. Where cysts are just a tissue fluid sac. But when that fluid sac gets full of fluid, then it becomes painful, and it can also pop. So that becomes really painful for a female, is when those fluid sacs grow to the level where they actually also pop. Then that's super painful. But even if they don't pop, it's still painful. So we have just a water fluid sac, which is a cyst. We have a muscular tumor that's benign. That's a fibroid. And then PCOS is actually producing too much androgens in your system. And now you are having, as a female, some male symptoms.
Okay. I wanted to get the definition of the way first on the front end, because I know there's things we want to chat about. Plus, there are questions already, but I want, and I think we can address those questions as we go along. But I, as always, want you to share what you have for our family first. So start your role.
Well, here's the thing, is that if you come to me as a person with PCOS, fibroids, cysts, I almost treat them, even though they're different, in the same category, because the reality is we have a hormone imbalance. Now, the truth is that many of these conditions have a genetic foundation. So it is true that genetically, there was a hormone imbalance in the womb. Like, we've come out this way. Now, you're not going to discover that you have these issues until puberty sets in and you start having your cycle, because then there's a hormone shift. And if the hormones, if the dominoes weren't lined up properly, when you hit that domino, they don't all fall in a perfect circle. But you wouldn't know that until you hit the dominoes and you see that they weren't lined up right. So with that being said, is that you don't usually discover it until a female starts going through their cycles, and then they see that there's trouble. Now, the other thing that's the reality of all of this is that if you've had a stressful childhood, if you've had some very improper eating growing up, foods extremely high in hormones or sugar, and we can really take the diet apart. But then when you get to your the time that you're having your cycle, when you hit puberty, then they start showing up. So yes, it can be a genetic disposition, but it is also fed by your diet and lifestyle as well.
And we got some more people join the house. Mr. Wayne Harris is in the house saying, good morning, Miss Carolyn and Dr. Vibe. And also
morning.
Dr. Tachi is in the house. She says, good morning, all. Let me ask, when you look at PCOS, fibroids, and cysts today, what worries you most about how they're often dismissed or normalized?
Yeah, so most people can do a quick search and find out that 70 to 80% of women have fibroids. And also it's very prevalent in Black and Asian communities. So it does get written off as a normal part of my culture, a normal part of my genetics. It's not normal to grow tumors in your body. It is not normal for your body to have fluid sacs full of water. It is not normal for a female to have too many androgen hormones. These are not normal. And and the other thing too, I mean, as you know, I'm a Christian, and I believe that we were, created and designed. And if you go to Genesis, it says the promise after sin is that you would have pain during childbirth. Pain during menstrual cycle is not normal. That wasn't what the promise was. That wasn't the curse. The curse was pain during childbirth. So we've normalized, oh, I have my period. I've got menstrual cramps. You have to take Advil. You have to take Tylenol. Oh, I'm 50. That's why I'm having hot flashes. Like, we have normalized abnormal symptoms because 80% of the world is having them, but 80% of the world is not living right. Let's be real. So that's the thing, is that these are not normal symptoms, and you also don't have to live with it, because fibroid, cyst, and PCOS can be cured, or at least 80% diminished, so that it's not taking over your life and every cycle that you have.
Good stuff. So then let me ask, what's really happening in the body when hormones are, quote, out of balance, when we're talking about PCOS, fibroids, or cysts?
So we always have to remember that disease, problems, PCOS, fibroids, they're not the enemy. So the body has something called homeostasis. Homeostasis is the law that governs the human body. It's what tries to keep it in balance. So the truth is that having a fibroid means that your body created something to fix a problem. Having a cyst means your body created something to fix a problem. Having PCOS means the same thing. So if you've become insulin resistant, for instance, then, or let's just say if you are consuming foods that are high in estrogen, or if you have a parasite, your body tries to get rid of that parasite. What might it do? It could create a tissue to cover over that parasite. It can create, it can allow the muscles to grow over that parasite. Well, now I have a real problem, is now I have this tumor growing inside my body. But the problem is not that I have a tumor growing inside the body. Problem is I have a parasite. So if your body has too much estrogen or too much cortisol, your system has to manage that. And the way that it manages it starts to reveal itself in a disease. So the issue is not PCOS, it's not cysts, and it's not fibroids. The issue is I've got a hormone imbalance happening, and how do I fix that hormone imbalance so my body's not creating cysts and fibroids, and I have to cut off food supply that continues to feed them? Because if, for instance, you have too much stored iron, your body has to do something with it. And that's what also, all that iron, that grows your muscle tissues. So unfortunately, even stored iron can grow these fibroids. So I'm just saying all of this because people need to look deeper than the disease, ascertain the cause. Disease is a result of the violation of the laws of your being that govern your being. So disease isn't the problem. High blood pressure is not the problem. Diabetes isn't the problem. All of these hormone balances aren't the issue. It's why did your body have to go into this state? Because it was trying to fix itself, because we're such a mess.
Well, I'm getting that feeling that Carolyn's getting into her zone. She's getting into her zone with her water. And I know the family has questions. We'll get to them in just a moment. I have another conversation piece. Can you walk us through the roles that insulin, stress hormones, and inflammation in these conditions?
Yeah. So here's the thing is that, so insulin has a vital role to play for you to be able to metabolize and use glucose. So all of our cells in our body, trillions of them, have receptors on them, a number of receptors, but one of which is an insulin receptor. So when I have glucose from my food, which I should, glucose is released from the liver, and so is insulin from the pancreas at the same time. They travel through the bloodstream together so that insulin can sit on the receptor. And when it does that, it opens the door for the transporter for glucose. So in goes the glucose. It has a wonderful chemical reaction, and bam, we have energy. So the problem with PCOS here is that many times your insulin receptor is blocked. So now glucose can't get into the transporter, and it sits in the system. When it sits in the system, it's very acidic, and the body has to do something with that glucose. So in the beginning stages, you wouldn't show that you have diabetes or high blood sugar because it's taking that glucose and it's storing it. It's taking that glucose and it's storing it. That storage of glucose can create triglycerides, can create fatty tissues, can create storage of this very active molecule of glucose, which on a deeper scale actually sets off your hormones, causes your female hormones to go down and male hormones to increase. And as far as an inflammation goes, or the levels of cortisol, is that cortisol and adrenaline are your stress hormones. Now, if your body is so busy creating adrenaline creating cortisol, your other hormones suffer, because now your body doesn't have the capacity, the time, the energy to create serotonin, to create melatonin, to produce the right insulin, to get estrogen balanced, because it's constantly dealing with using its resources and time for adrenaline and for cortisol. And when cortisol is constantly released, it causes inflammation. Inflammation is not a bad thing. Inflammation is your body protecting itself. So your body will start to put fluid in one area that's been damaged by cortisol or maybe poor diet, and it starts to pool water in an area. So remember, cysts are just a pooling of water in a cell. So now I have this fluid sac because your body is trying to protect you from the dangers of cortisol, from the damage of your diet. And so it's going to use water and these fluid sacs as a protective mechanism because it thinks it has to protect you. But we've created the problem ourselves. So again, the whole concept of, having a cyst, having a fibroid, these are protective mechanisms that your body is doing because we've created an issue that it's trying to fix.
I have to apologize because I know there are things that you wanted to share and I just jumped in there with questions.
No,
So,
it's perfect. Your questions help me unpack everything that I'm going to say.
okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. I'm going to get to some audience questions because they've been in the bucket for a little bit. So first question from you, the president of your fan club, says, from a holistic perspective, what do you believe are the most common root causes behind PCOS and fibroids that conventional medicine might overlook?
Yes. So what I would say with that is that, conventional medicine is always looking at the issue and not the cause. That's the problem. So unfortunately, they treat the cause or the symptoms. So conventional medicine would say, you know what, let's get you on an IUD so that your period, because your period's irregular or because your period is painful, let's just stop your period. That's so horrible. Your period is what keeps your cycles going. It's also, females need to understand that it's part of your waste mechanism. So it actually releases tons of waste and toxins through your cycle. To stop a female cycle in their period of life where this is your prime reproductive time, it's actually quite dangerous because you're now shutting off more hormones that we're supposed to be on. So conventional treatment is, in my opinion, quite dangerous because they are going to try to shut off your cycle or give you birth control pills to regulate it. But all of those mechanisms, whether it's an IUD or whether it's birth control pills or whether it's HRT or hormone therapy, it overrides your body's natural ability to balance your hormones. So you're not fixing anything. And if we can be real, cancer is just an unnatural division of cells because the hormones are communicating incorrectly. So all we're doing is creating more of a hormone imbalance with the natural Western medicine therapies. What we have to do is learn how to regulate cortisol ourselves, learn how to balance your estrogen yourself, because your body have this problem because it's trying to fix itself. So if you could give it the right environment, it will do the same thing. It will start to take apart those fibroids. It'll start to reduce those cysts. It'll say, oh, I don't need it anymore. Carolyn's not inflamed. Carolyn's not stressed out. Carolyn's gotten rid of her parasites. And it starts to fix itself.
Dr. Tachi's in agreement with you. She says, yes, it releases waste as well. And she says also, yeah, okay, there we go. Yes, it releases waste as well. And also says, yes, it makes no sense to use something to help regulate pain, yet you continue to eat caramel ding-dongs for breakfast every day. You like that comment?
Yes, I do. Dr. Tachi's 100% correct. I say a lot, like, if you have a headache, most people, not all people, but most people reach for an Advil or a Tylenol. Well, let's just stop for a second. Why do you have a headache? Is it because you haven't drank enough water today? Is it because you missed your coffee and you're trying to get rid of your caffeine in your diet? Is it because you didn't sleep enough? So let's find out why you have the headache rather than masking the pain, because what stops you from then getting a headache the next day? Right? So just trying to deal with the symptoms and mask the issue is such a horrible idea. And honestly, that's not where medicine started. Medicine didn't start that way. Medicine has evolved this way because it has turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry that sells pharmaceuticals. And so now the profit margins, like now they make money off how many pills they sell, how many procedures you do. This is so backwards. So it's a sales game. They don't actually care why you are in the situation you're in. They're not trying to find the cause, because if they find the cause, you don't have the issue and you don't need the medication. Yeah. And that now hurts the bottom line of this very lucrative pharmaceutical industry.
Let me ask, what are you hearing from women emotionally when they get these diagnoses, the PCOS, the fibroid cysts? Because I know you have very good relationships with many of your clients. What are you hearing from them emotionally?
So here's the reality for a female that has a cycle and is still in their cycle. There's, usually about 5 days of a cycle, 2 to 3 days of a premenstrual cycle. You have almost a 1 week ovulation. I mean, now you're talking out of 30 days, half your month spent in some sort of a hormonal change. And if that is a mess, your ovulation time could be painful. The days working up to your period, your moods are off. You're a mess. During your period, now you're also in a lot of pain if you have fibroids. And if you have PCOS, your periods are so irregular, you don't know if they're coming or going. And now you're a female growing hairs on your chin, on your breast, and you have pain many times during ovulation. And your cysts function and live off of your hormone changes. So during ovulation, your cysts are so big and painful. And during your period, they finally start to disappear after a painful outburst. So when you're in a relationship, that's like half the month you're just like, honey, don't touch me. Honey, I'm in a miserable mood. Honey, don't talk to me. And you're stuffing your face with all the wrong things because your cravings are out of control. And then it's also like you have to pop yourself with so many pills to even get through your work days. And so you end up not even being productive in your work. You're half of the month, you're not yourself in your relationships. I mean, what a mess. And it's so avoidable. It's so avoidable.
Yeah, this is really hitting home because there's someone who I care about a lot who brought me to the awareness of PCOS. I had not heard about it before till about 2 years ago. And they educated me a lot about it. And I'm going to make sure that she watches. She goes, good work, Dr. Vibe. You do that. You do that. You know what? Let me go for another. I wish we had 2 hours because there is so much I want to. This is, and we may need to do a part 2, but Dr. Tachi says about your thought about the medical industry. Another reason that, in my opinion, they try to push hysterectomies, particularly on Black women.
Oh, it's
There's more
terrible.
money in the surgery than treating the root cause.
Yeah,
I know you agree with that.
it's such a sad situation to have between hysterectomies and gallbladder removal. I mean, this is like, day surgery, and those are the two most done surgeries in all of America, and they take out your entire uterus and ovaries. I mean, sometimes it's a partial, but regardless, and gallbladders, like, you don't need it. Like, you don't need it. Yeah, it's unfortunate because that creates a host of other issues.
Oh, there's so much. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of questions in there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of questions I have too. So what I'm gonna do,
And
what are
we
the
can do
early
part two. We can totally do part two.
because yeah, this is evolving into a whole big thing, which I'm happy for. I'm really happy. All right, so I don't know where to go because
And it's important for our men to hear this because
yes.
most men are in a relationship. If they're in a relationship with a female, just understanding how they can help them, because females that are going through this don't enjoy the process, but feel so many times that this is just a part of my genetic makeup. I'm a Black woman and Black women just have fibroids. Like, that is not a truth. So more of a genetic disposition for fibroids, but you don't have to live with fibroids just because you're a Black woman or an Asian woman, because it's high in the Asian population too. So it's important for men to know this information.
Okay. Geez, I'm just okay. Let's do this first. Okay. Food Plane says, how big of a role does diet play in the managing of PCOS and fibroids? And are there specific foods that help rebalance hormones naturally?
Yeah. So I'll try to answer these quickly without taking away from information, but diet has a huge role to play. But it's not just diet, so I'm sure we'll come to that at some point. But diet has a huge role to play because you have a hormone imbalance. So if you are consuming foods that are endocrine disruptors, endocrine is your hormonal system. If you're consuming foods that are endocrine disruptors or have a lot of hormones in them to cause unnatural growth, you're in trouble with all these diseases. So sugar is an endocrine disruptor. So is alcohol. So is caffeine in any forms, even dark chocolate. The darker the chocolate, the higher the caffeine. Black tea, green tea, white tea, coffee, energy drinks, colas, chocolate. That's why I use carob instead of cacao, because all of those are endocrine disruptors, including marijuana and tobacco. So when you remove your endocrine disruptors, that's better for your hormones, but then you have to be careful. Chicken is super high in hormones. Dairy products are the worst for PCOS, fibroids, and cysts.
Okay, hold on. If I have your permission to interrupt, should people be eating chicken?
No. Why would somebody want to eat a chicken? Why? Why do they want to eat a chicken? Because it has iron? Because it has protein? Well, where did that chicken get its iron and protein from? Like plants. So yeah, maybe you like chicken, but you shouldn't be eating it. I mean, you could eat it because you like it, but you surely don't need it. But unfortunately, the amount of hormones that are put into and the antibiotics that are put into our chickens, it's also in our cows, but chickens are pretty high. They become endocrine disruptors for you as well.
Wow.
So, okay. But I will tell you, though, that dairy products trump them all.
Okay.
Because dairy products is breast milk for a baby cow. So it is intentionally, by nature, has prolactin. It has growth hormones in the dairy products. Doesn't matter to me if you take that cow's milk and you turn it into high probiotic yogurt or kefir or cheese or creamer or ice cream or cottage cheese. Doesn't matter. It has hormones in it by nature. They cause growth. That's what prolactin does. It's trying to take your baby calf and make it a mother cow or bull in just a few months. So when you put dairy products into your system, you are feeding fibroids. You are causing a hormone imbalance for PCOS to either grow those cysts or create more androgen because you are having a disruptor of hormones in your system. So it's real problem to be having hormonal foods and hormonal imbalances.
I think for ladies and guys, what Carolyn just shared, for me, I'm sitting back and taking that in, because you did say specifically for women there, but I think also the impact on men too.
Yeah, I don't know that we've had a full male conversation, but the impact of animal products on male function is astounding. You will have a whole lot more erections and you will have a whole lot more pleasure if you actually follow a plant-based diet compared to a meat diet, because of the amount of uric acid that's released from those animal products and the hormone imbalance. But that's another show for another time.
Yes. Okay. let me ask, how do stress, sleep, and movement show up in your work with women dealing with these diagnoses?
So that's the perfect question, which could even wrap up the whole show, but it's not going to.
No, it's not.
Here's the problem. When cortisol is high, unnaturally, so when we wake up in the morning as the sun begins to rise, cortisol naturally starts rising. That's how you get out of bed in the morning. Okay, so that's a natural process. And after the sun sets, cortisol starts dropping, melatonin starts rising, and serotonin goes down. These are hormone balances and hormone shifts that happen naturally for our circadian rhythm. As the sun rises and sets, hormones also shift naturally. When you get out of bed and you're like, oh no, I'm late for work. Okay, let me just, grab this muffin, grab this coffee. You create such a dump of cortisol in your system. So it's already rising, and now you've got it to do that extra boost and dump of cortisol, which your whole body can't handle. It's too much cortisol. Now it goes into inflammation and storage mode. Major, major problem. And on top of that, in your rush, you just go and get a coffee as a morning instead of a protein-rich breakfast that has vitamin C, which regulates cortisol, by the way. So now we put in caffeine, which is an endocrine disruptor. So now your estrogen is off, your serotonin is off, and your cortisol is further out of control, while you use that coffee to vasodilate your vessels, so more cortisol can just keep running through your body, destroying every inch of your vessels, your brain, your ovaries, your breasts, whatever the case is. So that problem is that rush in the morning. When cortisol starts rising in the morning, you need a gentle entry into your day with a high protein, vitamin C rich breakfast. And when cortisol starts dropping at night, you don't want to excite that and start doing exercise at night or rushing around all night or watching screens all night and getting your brain going. At night, you want to surrender to that process and allow cortisol to come down naturally as melatonin starts rising. So your morning and your evening are so important. At noon, cortisol is the highest. Go nuts during the day when the sun is fully up and You've got a lot of work to do. Your body's built for that. Okay. But in the morning, you need to guard your mornings. At night, you need to guard your nights. When you wake up, you should be reading something calming, relaxing, whether it's your Bible or whether you're writing in your journal. You want to have a slow entry into your morning. You need to go outside within the first 30 minutes or hour of waking and get the sunshine through your pineal gland, because that sunshine stimulates serotonin, which means I'm going to sleep better tonight, because if I have good serotonin in the day, I'll have great melatonin at night. So the problem is that especially those who work from home, we don't leave. We get up, we stay in the house, we stay in the house, and we stay in the house. You don't get that sunshine on your face and in your eyes in the morning. Hormones don't have any fighting chance to balance. And we wonder why we can't sleep good, shut down, or why we're waking up constantly, because you're having cortisol spikes all night. So it's so simple. I don't have a pill to give you. I'm not going to tell you write down these 3 herbs that regulate your cortisol. It's not necessary. Wake up in the morning, read something very positive or challenging in the way of, these are some positive changes I want to make for my life. I personally have my time in the morning where I read the Bible, I write a devotional, I have my time in prayer. Then I go outside, I do some exercise. I have a wonderful breakfast that's high in protein, rich in vitamin C. Then once this process is done, everybody can take all they need from me because I'm good. And at night, the same process happens. You want to get off your screen 1 to 2 hours before bed. Do something that is not with all these bright lights on. Maybe you're just washing up your dishes, cleaning up a few things, sit down, read a few Bible verses or a book before bed, journal your thoughts for the day, reflect on what you're going to do tomorrow. Just like you've got to guard that morning and evening so that your cortisol is regulated. Otherwise, it's a mess, which is why you can imagine 80% of the population of females has these hormone imbalances.
Can I say you're on fire? This is good. All right. What I'm going to do is we're going to go on a quick break so you can just because you're on fire.
And manage my cortisol levels.
No, it's okay. We're going to go on a quick break for a 30-second break. Then we're going to just talk on people how people can get a hold of Energy Juice Shack. And then we'll be right back.
Check out Black Men Can Talk live this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe, Kofi Sadat, and Kofi Morris and special guests will be talking about Black love and liberation, how our relationships fuel our revolution. You don't want.
Okay, I didn't want to show that.
Check out Primetime Saturdays with Aisha and Lala.
We're live every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
With Aisha K. Staggers
and Laura Lala Key.
Where we try to make sense of the nonsense
going on in American politics and culture.
You don't want to miss it.
We'll see you on Saturday.
Watch Black Canada Talking live on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Cesar de Mamusa give their takes and POVs on news stories from a Black Canadian perspective.
That's what I wanted to show. All right. That was what I wanted to show. All right. So we are back with Carolyn. And before we get in, I want people to know how they can get a hold of Carolyn. So EnergyShackJuiceBar.com, email info@EnergyShackJuiceBar.com, Instagram, The Energy Shack Juice Bar, Facebook, Energy Shack Juice Bar, phone number 647-637-6755. Don't worry, she's global. So you're out of the Toronto area, email her. She'll Zoom with you or email you. If you have any questions about physical health for Carolyn, please email her at info@EnergyShackJuiceBar.com and say you saw her in the morning vibe. Consultations, EnergyShackJuiceBar.com/consultations. And all this is in the comment sections on many of the platforms you're watching this live or on the replay. Special offer. consultation with nutritionist, $49 instead of $110 when you mention the Morning Vibe or Dr. Vibe in your email. So email at info at Energy Shack Juice Bar. I think that covered all that. Now we have another question, and I'm going to highlight someone who's brand new, who I've never seen on the platform, Suzanne. Hey,
she's a very good, faithful customer of Energy Shack for so many years.
Okay, she says, how about natural organic farm raised chicken?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Suzanne. So for sure, a natural organic farm raised chicken is not going to have the extra hormones and antibiotics that are pumped into it. But the reality is that everybody in the animal kingdom produces hormones and cholesterol. So even if you have raised that chicken yourself, it still has hormones and cholesterol in it. So is it a better option? For sure. Is it still going to be a bit of an endocrine disruptor? Yes, it is. Should your body be able to manage that? It should be, for sure. Your body was designed to be able to balance when things are off. But what I would tell you is that if you're having a hormone imbalance, why put anything in there that your body has to try to fix? So that's why when we do our 60-day programs of helping people balance their cortisol, their hormones, we take all endocrine disruptors out. That means every piece of animal product, fish, chicken, all of it. I don't want anything in there that is an unnatural hormone or an endocrine disruptor. So as a maintenance, if you want to bring back some chicken, totally fine. I just wouldn't have it all the time, even if it's organic farm raised.
Okay. Food Plane says a healed, healthy patient is a lost customer for a lot of farmers. And he also says, Carolyn dropping the gems. And he also says, wow, telling a New Yorker to start your morning slow is like telling a cheetah to run less than half a mile per hour.
I understand.
Okay, and then that girl Cindy. Thank you, that girl Cindy 416. First time. Hope you're enjoying what you're hearing. And if you want, please subscribe. Says, should we still get outside in the morning on cloudy days? And before you answer that, it's something I've heard from a number of people saying this winter has been so cloudy, so dull. A lot of, and it's
Can you hear me? I think that there was a break in the.
No problem. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So just this, should we still get outside in the morning on cloudy days?
Yes. So, it's very interesting. I don't know if it's because I live up north, but I feel like this has been the most sunshiny winter we've ever had. I don't know if it's just my positive attitude of seeing the cup always half full rather than half empty, but we have had so much sunshine this winter. Yes, a lot of snow, but when it comes to cloudy days, as long as it's not dark, that means the sun is coming through. And don't underestimate those rays of the sunshine and how powerful they are. So yes, on cloudy days, you must still get outside. It's still important. It's not going to be as potent as, the sunshine staring right in your eyes, but point yourself towards that sunshine, do some wonderful deep breathing or walk going towards the sunshine. But you definitely still need to have sunshine even on cloudy days.
Yeah, I do my best because I do work from home. And even if it's been a whole day that I've been working, even if it's in the nighttime, I go outside, even if it's for 15, just fresh air, whatever. Just get outside.
That morning, Dr. Vibe, that within the hour of waking, of getting up, getting that sunshine, that within that hour of waking, that is so key for hormone balancing.
Okay. All right. I
Huge.
received. Let me ask, what do you say to a woman who feels like her body has, quote, betrayed, unquote, betrayed her?
Well, I really have to do a full assessment of their health because most likely they have betrayed, that woman has betrayed the circadian rhythm. Because your body doesn't betray you. Your body is always there to try to heal you. But unfortunately, we don't give it the right environment, or things are so off balance that they just can't roll with the punches anymore. So it hasn't betrayed you. Every disease is your body trying to fix you and save you. For instance, here's a really great example. You're going outside, it's plus 30, you forgot your water. You're on a walk, instead of taking your car, you decided to walk. You start walking, 20 minutes in, you realize, I don't have water with me. You're sweating a bit, you're getting dry in your mouth. You know, you're really not doing well, but now there's only 30 minutes. When you get to your destination, you'll get water. You're going through dehydration. You all of a sudden start feeling dizzy, start feeling faint, and you black out. You knock your head on the concrete, which is not good. And, you know, when you all come to and you know, somebody finds you, they start hydrating you, you're just like, what happened? And now you have this big bump in your head, and you're kind of mad at your body, let's say, for, you know, that it gave way. Why couldn't you just sustain me for that hour while I was going there? Well, the reality is that, you know, you just put your body in a situation where it was so dehydrated. And while you're walking, because your brain is 75% water, it has to try to get all that water from the brain, or your heart would stop. And so since it has to go against gravity to get all that water from the brain, it says, you know what, let me save Carolyn's life so her heart doesn't stop, and let me just black her out so she drops down, and now I can get the water easily from her brain to save her heart. So you think your body did a bad thing by making you pass out, but the reality is it was just trying to save you. You're on mute. Okay.
I haven't forgot your question. I was just trying to fit where I was going to come. So I'm going to ask it now. So Michelle says, what are the best foods to eat for vegan women who are postmenopausal, please?
The best foods are for postmenopausal is that you've got to focus on your calcium, and you've got to focus on your protein. So make sure, I like women to be sprouting their beans, because then the protein increases. So if you don't know how to sprout, just get in touch with me. But sprouting your mung beans, your lentils, that is very incredible. Eating your dark leafy greens, very important, because now we have rich iron and rich calcium. Those are the two that are most important. So make sure there's hemp hearts on your salad. Make sure you're having healthy proteins, and make sure you're doing, you know, the chia, the almonds, the green leafy vegetables. These are very high in calcium. Very, very, very important.
Thank you for your patience, Michelle. I know you asked that a while ago, but I wasn't going to forget you. Won't forget you. Food Plan says many women with PCOS deal with insulin resistance. Are there natural strategies that can help them regulate insulin levels?
Yeah. So as we were saying in the beginning, PCOS and diabetes are almost completely connected. So, and it's the beginning of insulin resistancy. So if you are overweight, we've got to lose some weight so that your insulin resistancy is just small little fat molecules that are sitting on your insulin receptors. So we have to pull those off. We have to get rid of the extra fat that's being stored in your body. And so when there's too much fat, your body breaks them down into tiny fat molecules. That's what sits on your insulin resistors. So we need a high fiber diet. We need exercise to get rid of that extra fat storage. And we also need regular fasting, because when you put your body in a state of fasting, ketosis, your body is forced to use stored fat for fuel, and you'll automatically start burning off those insulin resistance myocellular lipids that are sitting there.
Okay. Another question from the food. And I think you may have addressed it, but how much does chronic stress affect hormonal imbalances that lead to fibroids or cysts?
Yeah, in fact, it's almost all of it. It's almost all of it. So chronic stress is that big dump of cortisol, and it's constant, right? So, well, I should say acute stress is that big dump of cortisol, but chronic stress is that slow drip of cortisol constantly. Your body can handle the dog jumping in front of the car, you having to run away from the robber, these situations that happen sometimes in life. Your body can handle those acute stress moments, but it can't handle constant slow drips of cortisol. Now your body has to take cortisol, take the sugar that was released during that stress, chronic stress, and it has to store. This storage of nutrients, this storage of glucose, this storage of toxins, this is probably the underlying cause of almost all health issues. And cortisol causes your body to store because it thinks you have to run away from the bear for the next 45 minutes to 2 hours. So it stores for you. It releases glucose so you can quickly run, and then it goes into storage mode. So when your body's storing, it actually doesn't have a bear to run away from. So what's it doing with all that storage? Those are live nutrients, glucose molecules that begin to take on a life of their own. Your body has to do something with this. That's why I like fasting regularly, because it forces the body to get rid of storage.
Well said. The president of your fan club has another question saying, how do you get rid of parasites? You mentioned wormwood, clove, garlic.
So we have a whole parasite cleansing program, and we have a parasite cleansing kit. So wormwood is helpful, cloves are helpful, black walnut is helpful, but you also need some charcoal as a binder. You need the mimosa pudica seeds, which help to pull the dead parasites out of the system. You also have to go on a low sugar diet. You need, iodine, and you need papaya seeds. I mean, there's a whole protocol. Now, understand that everybody has a level of parasites, and that's okay. It's when the parasites get out of control. So fibroids, unlike cysts and unlike PCOS, fibroids feed. They're muscular tumors that feed. They love iron, which is they get full of blood. They love calcium. That's why those women with fibroids are very low on iron. They can become, have bone density issues because fibroids eat, they thrive, they feed, they love estrogen, they love cortisol, they love sugars, they love, toxins and pathogens. They love that. They feed off of them. And those things cause them to grow and grow and grow. So when it comes to fibroids, you have to cut off the food supply. And if a parasite was at the center of it, you really do need to get a parasite cleanse. So you'd have to talk to me personally to get the kit, the instructions on how to do a proper parasite cleanse.
Okay, Food Plane says, amazing how your mental health affects your physical health.
It's all here. It's actually all here. Your brain tells everything what to do. So when you can have a quiet, slow entry into your morning, your brain is like relaxed. And so it doesn't have this it only allows the cortisol that was naturally there to start getting you ready. But if you go into emergency mode as soon as you wake up, which is why I never use an alarm. I don't want this waking me up in the morning. I'm going to open up my eyes when I open my eyes. And if that means I miss my flight, that means I miss my flight. I don't need anything startling me out of bed. You need that slow entry into your morning, because when your brain knows that you're relaxed, and the same thing at night, then you don't have these cortisol dumps and jumps throughout the day.
This is wonderful. As we're starting to wind it down, more people are coming into the conversation. Michelle has a conversation. She says, why is creatine and protein powder still being pushed as a must-have for athletes, along with eating several 4 to 5 to 6 meals a day without really giving the digestive system a break?
Yeah, so that's really another conversation for another time. But I'll just say quickly is that when you want to get your body to do something unnatural, you have to feed yourself in an unnatural way. So if you've ever watched The Game Changer, you'll see that Arnold Schwarzenegger himself says in order to have all this unnatural muscle he had on his body, he had to eat unnaturally, large amounts of the dead flesh of animals. So most of us, unfortunately, I know we like watching sports, but you are to some degree pushing your body to do something that it's unnaturally not designed to do. Gladiators, which were the fastest, strongest athletes that we know on earth, were nicknamed barley men because they were completely plant-based. If you look at gladiators, they were not fully built muscles everywhere. They were fit, they were fast, but they were lean. That's not what we want anymore. We want these bulging muscles. We want to beat record times. We just want to keep pushing our body to do unnatural things. So therefore, you have to feed your body in an unnatural way.
Got it. 2 more quick conversation pieces. I think we have to do a part 2 because we got to look at each one of the PCOS, cysts, and fibroids. But 2 more conversations. Yeah, this has been really good, as always, when you're here. So how do you see holistic nutrition working along gynecologists, endocrinologists, and other clinicians?
So if those 2 could be married, the holistic nutrition part would be able to help the person with their diet and lifestyle, while the endocrinologist and the gynecologist could have a deeper look of, okay, look, your estrogen is high, or you're not producing enough serotonin. They can do the tests. They can do all of the scans and blood work that help to see your direction, where you're going, what's working and not working as you change your lifestyle and diet. So if those 2 could be married, what a beautiful world we'd have. But the reality is that a holistic nutritionist is trying to help you heal and not have this issue to not need helping you heal to have this issue to not need medication, while the gynecologist, the endocrinologist is there to help you get on the medication, take another scan, do things that unfortunately feed the pharmaceutical industry. So they don't want your issue to go away.
We'll end off on this. So what questions should a woman bring to her next doctor's appointment if she suspects PCOS, fibroids, or cysts?
I would ask them, do you know the underlying cause of why this has happened? Is there anything I can do in my diet or lifestyle to help my condition? And if they say no, diet doesn't matter, genetics have every role to play, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Yeah, and you need to, hopefully they do have some information along that lines, but if not, you really do need to speak to a nutritionist, because whether it's PCOS, fibroids, or cysts, you are fixable. You don't have to live with these conditions.
I think it's a good way to end this conversation. Wow. Wow. Part 2 has to come up sometime this year.
For sure.
Yeah, this, and again, great to the audience as always, interactive with, especially Hail Up Food Plane and Michelle. Great questions. Before we shut it down, just a recap. If you want to get a hold of Carolyn, there's the website, email, Instagram, Facebook, phone number. Again, if you have any questions, email her info@energyshackjuicebar.com. There's the link if you want to do a consultation. There's the offer. What's stopping you? Carolyn, and also I have another show idea. I think with the rising costs of living, maybe a show of how to eat healthy and nutritious on a budget.
So easy.
How to eat, because as I was saying at the beginning of the show, and I know you were in the green room, gas is going up, so that means everything's going up. And a lot of times it leads to people making unhealthy food choices because it's cheap. And so just a thought.
Yeah. I think that's a great thought and a much needed conversation. So we'll add that into our calendar.
100%. So as always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show and hit the notification button, like the Dr. Vibe Show. Excuse me, I just digesting my water on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. There's the information to join our Discord group. If you want to advertise your business, product, or service, email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Also, remember the ADNC Power Summit. Check it out. Please and thank you. Coming up on Monday's show, Mini on Cam, MS Awareness a Month, Black Voices Living with Multiple Sclerosis, which she lives with. Also coming up this Sunday on the Dr. Vibe Show, Philip Scott, founder and chief executive media architect of the African Diaspora News Channel. I forgot to put this also. Here's a link to our survey. We want to hear from y'all. We want to make the show better. We've been going on for 5 years now. Thank you, Food Plane, at the beginning. I didn't realize that. So make sure we do that. Here's the link to get a hold of Ryan. That's at ryanoneilknight.com. And I always have to say, I've been saying it for 5 years. It's Knight with a KN, not an N. All right. So make sure you do that. Here's a link to get a hold of me, taplink.cc/the drvibeshow.com. And then finally, if you want to watch replays of this epic conversation, check it out on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Afro Caribbean Business Network on YouTube, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. We got 2 more last comments. Oh, here we go. Suzanne says, thanks so much, Carolyn. Great info. And then also Michelle Baptiste says, thank you for your information. Amazing. All right. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith and walk good. See you soon.